Oh, wow, we done made it already. Okay, welcome to Brother Empowerment.
Hello.
We are at a brand new spot. We are at Perfectly Flawed Community Center. Woo!
Thank you, guys.
Just opened this week, but the grand party is...
April 7th.
The grand party is April 7th. But before we get into the Brother Empowerment, I definitely want to turn it over to the woman who is the visionary behind this wonderful establishment, but also was the one who challenged us to do Brother Empowerment. So I'm actually excited about having this young lady on. I'm going to introduce you guys to Dionne Selby.
Hey, y'all.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for, just partnering with me and basically accepting the challenge. I am a certified life coach. Like Dwayne just said, I am the owner of the Perfectly Flawed Community Center in Garner, North Carolina. I am a helper in the community. I do coaching in finances, personal development, and relationships. I do public speaking. I just do everything. I do it all. So at the center, we will be doing coaching, counseling, teeth whitening, an after-school program, and we will also be doing fitness classes, and we will also have space for anybody that's interested in space rental for events and workshops.
Awesome. So now, for those who, if this is your first time tuning in, Brother Empowerment is about uplifting brothers, but also becoming aware of those things like ending misogyny, hypermasculinity, gender inequality, or even any type of rape culture or anything that could be perceived as negative. And it's not so much about bashing people and saying, oh, you need to. It's about looking at things from a different perspective, but also acknowledging the everyday man. The man that doesn't normally get recognized for the great things that he's doing. There are so many brothers who are working so hard that they don't have time to come to PTA meetings or volunteer at the local community center.
Or do a bunch of speaking.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're out there taking care of their business and doing what they're supposed to do. In fact, that's why we're having on March 24th, the Brother Empowerment Cookout is for all men and their families, just to celebrate the brothers and have a good time. Let us love on one another, look out for one another, but most importantly, just support one another and know, brothers, you're not alone.
Mm-hmm. That's what's up.
So, Dionne, talk to us first about why did you challenge us? Why did you feel like this was necessary? You got to tell us something.
Well, first of all, I challenged you because we were always kind of going back and forth on some of my thought-provoking questions that I would post during the day. And,
it's a billion of them, by the way, guys, so let's not...
One every hour.
Don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed if you start to follow me and you start to see what they're talking about. But, from those questions, some of the comments that we would share and some of the conversation that we would have, it started to provoke some thought that, we needed to have more of that involvement of what I was seeing on social media from the conversations that I was having with just some of the brothers on my page in real life. Mm-hmm. So we're always talking about women's conferences and women, empowerment. What about the brothers? What about the men? And so I challenged you and you accepted the challenge.
Yeah, we accepted the challenge head on. I think sometimes me and Cordell laugh about this all the time, is that we try to organize things. And so one day we were like, you know what, forget trying to organize it, let's just do it. Mm-hmm. And we're so glad that we did, because it's a lot of brothers that have been reaching out to us and that we have met because of Brother Empowerment.
Okay,
and so we're excited to even meet even more brothers. We got brothers that will be traveling from Atlanta, a couple of people from the other parts of Georgia that will be coming up, South Carolina that are coming up, some people from Virginia that are coming down, and DC that are coming down, all to come to this cookout.
Okay.
We have a couple of brothers who actually came together, Wise Men Entertainment.
Hell yeah. Yep.
They're going to be doing the publicity and all of those things and the marketing for the cookout. We got DJ Ty, the DJ that never rests. He's actually sponsoring his services, providing the music that night, that day. Okay. And then if you have children, we have a brother by the name of Ian Parks, who's the founder and CEO of Teens Have a Voice Too. So he'll be having stuff there for the children to do and things like that.
When
so
is the cookout?
The cookout is March 24th.
March 24th. Okay.
So make sure that you're there. So you challenged us, and we got to the we answered the call. But in your mind, first, what do you think when you think about brother empowerment? Not so much the conference and things like that. What is a guy? Like, what is the manifestation or the personification of a brother empowered? What does that look like?
What that looks like to me is like pretty much the same thing of what it looks like to me when I think of women's empowerment is the unity of brotherhood, accountability, which is a big thing, because you have that accountability with each other, you have the encouragement of each other, and just really just being able to uplift each other on the same page, just knowing that you're on the same level as far as, all of us are in this together. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. What about some positive brothers? When you think about positive men and you're like, this is what I would like to see of, who comes to mind? Like, who are the men that come to mind in your mind?
Well, first I definitely have to say mine.
Is it that bad?
Let me think. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, first of all, I have to say in my personal family, in my personal life, first of all, is definitely my husband, definitely my father, and definitely my brother. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As far as those are the four, the forefront of what positive men I see. My husband, he's a hard worker at Tonsorial Life Barber and Beauty, because he's a barber.
Shameless plug.
I know, shameless plug. And, my father's a hard worker, my brother's a hard worker, but they're all very positive as far as, uplifting each other. So I definitely have to start there. We're going to say Barack Obama. I mean, I guess.
But what about in your community?
In my community, I would first say with you guys, I would start here. Okay, I would start here. I love what y'all are doing. I love what y'all are doing. Yes, I love this. Even before, just the brother empowerment. Like I said, I could, you could tell someone's spirit from how they speak on social media. You know what I mean? So just kind of being able to tell by your comments and your interaction shows me your positivity. But outside of that, I would say, you're welcome.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. After that, I would say, I do see some positive brothers on my timeline. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to front. I do see some positive brothers on my timeline. I see a lot of conscious brothers on my timeline, that are speaking positively. Now, what I cannot say is that I really see a lot of positive brothers in my community really being leaders. Backing up what they're talking about on social media. So I'm kind of torn.
I definitely understand that, because that's probably one of my struggles. Like, fortunately, I finally found an employer that actually supports the entrepreneurial spirit. Not ashamed. My CEO and founder rocks the Love is a Parable bracelet at work.
Okay.
He's very supportive. So I'm finally in an environment that I can talk more about Love is a Parable. But prior to that, I couldn't. It was like, you work full time, you do their job, and then you do your dream.
Right.
And so it does limit you, because if you really think about it, if I'm working Monday through Friday, I have Saturday and Sunday, but I'm married, so that's family time.
Right,
and then you got to plan. So it's like, there's so many things that I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's why I literally are telling people, like, we need resources to do those things.
Yeah.
And it bothers me each day. If I'm perfectly honest, as I go to work, I do feel like I'm robbing the community of an opportunity to be empowered, because I have to think of my livelihood, but it still doesn't take away the guilt of saying I want to do more.
Right. Because we got to have a balance, because I'm married as well. I have children, but this is like my purpose. You know what I mean? This is my purpose. So I still have to find that balance to be active, but also active at home as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to back up too, because I thought, as we were just thinking about that, as far as some other positive examples, I do see a lot of bike clubs. doing a lot of organizations and
Yeah.
nonprofit stuff going on. So I wanted to back up and say that as far as being, showing some activity and some action in the community, I do see a lot of bike clubs.
Yeah, I know a couple brothers who do. They have fish sales and they do food sales, stuff like that. They give stuff to the community and stuff like that. I wanted to read a couple of the comments because we did have some.
Go ahead.
So my Uncle Marcus said #1 in Friends. So hey, Uncle Marcus. So he calls me #1, so I'm his #1 nephew.
Hey,
so Natanya said that positive men are men that stand in truth. A man that is always seeking empowering himself and family, or a man is always seeking empowerment for himself and his family. And then she said, my son is an example. He's looking forward to being a good example to his peers and his coming little sister. He's a little big brother.
Okay.
And Tara said, that part, she hears a lot more than she sees. So
yeah. So we recognize that there's a lot that we need to do, and let's be honest, there's a lot that we want to do.
Yeah.
That's where we need you guys' help. We constantly talk about, it's so funny how skeptical people are of good things. But if we had something that was shady or sketchy,
everybody would be all.
They would gravitate to
it. Yeah.
But the positive factor, it's amazing how many people question that. But we need the resources to go there, and we have to always talk about the current events. We have to talk about it. The elephant in the room this time is Jesse.
Oh man.
So, what are your thoughts, Dionne?
Ladies first.
Man, I mean, it's such an embarrassment. It's such an embarrassment. I mean, as much negativity we already get as far as being able to, prove discrimination and being able to, stand up for ourselves and gain the respect that we're trying so heavily to, get from our ancestry. And then to have him come out and be an embarrassment, it's just an embarrassment. I mean, I really don't, there's nothing else for me to say. I mean, when I first saw it, I shared it and I was like, oh my God, I was devastated that somebody would do something like that to him.
Yeah.
And then when they started having speculation that, he was fabricating the story and falsified it and all that, I was like, oh my God, please not to let this be true, because that's just wrong on so many levels.
Yeah, no, I know that when I first heard about it, the headline, I definitely thought, okay, oh man, that's messed up. There's already enough, hate violence towards, people are, towards our brothers and sisters who are,
of color,
yeah,
or
especially
gay,
who are gay, especially, and especially the ones who are color. So, when I saw the headline, I was definitely mad. I was definitely kind of, scared, because the time that we're in right now, especially the current political climate, a lot of people are very brazen to just basically attack people.
Right.
And so I will say though that I withheld saying anything about it, because when I first heard the story,
you felt like it wasn't true?
It sounded a little
weird,
off to me. So, however, I know that, not everything, you don't get all the facts right up front. So I didn't say anything about it. I just looked and I said, okay, well, more stuff will come out. Right. And so I didn't say anything. I still haven't said anything. But I will say that when I put the timeline events together and the plausibility story, it sounded a little off.
Yeah.
But even still, I still said if something that part didn't match me as much as, something happened. If something happened to this brother, then that's all that really matters to me. All the other stuff was extra. But as we're
just still in the back of your mind,
it's just something sounded a little off, But that was the most important thing to me. So I will say that I still am not gonna say anything until everything comes out.
I didn't really have that reaction, but a lot of people did. Yeah. A lot of people were like, "It doesn't really sound right. It sounded like it was kind of fake."
Yeah. I will say, my thing about the Jesse thing was what it did for a lot of people that I knew and respected. Social media is a beautiful thing, but it also is a dangerous thing.
Ugly.
And when I saw just how some people were attacking each other over this, that hurt me more than, to be honest, I don't know Jesse.
Right.
I have empathy for his situation.
Right.
But seeing people that I did know go against one another, argue with one another, insult one another's character, that hurt me more than anything.
Right.
And so my thing is, being a love advocate, for one, is that regardless of what happened, we shouldn't look for other reasons to further separate.
Right. Yeah.
We should be at a place where we can say what's on our mind or say what's on our heart without it causing distinction.
Right.
Right.
And for us to separate on this, what will happen when larger issues come?
Right. We'll see that.
Solidarity is important. It's okay. Like, it also bothered me that I have a cousin and another friend who are both homosexual. And they both disclose, they're like, I don't believe this, not one bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they wasn't going to say anything because it was, you're supposed to show solidarity in, you know, the LGBTQ community.
Why do you think people, what do you think gave it away that people didn't believe it? Like, what gave off that feeling?
I really didn't follow it enough. It was more of, I read the headline, he was attacked. I didn't look into the specifics, but you had some people who looked into the specifics. I was just like, oh, that sucked for him.
Okay.
Because for people who don't know, I've been a fan of Jussie when him and his siblings had a show. A lot of people don't know that. All of his siblings had a show.
I didn't know that either.
When I was a kid. So the people that's on that Empire kick, you ain't a real fan. So I'm a Smollett fan of the whole family, and they're all talented.
Right.
And they're all gifted. And so to see that, I'm thinking about, wow, a man of his stature is not safe. That was the only thing that ran through my mind. I didn't even look into the details. But you was about to say something. I'm sorry.
Well, before I do that, let me read some of these comments real quick. So, So Natanya said that men don't get as much exposure, and Tara said that she said, Jay, throw wine at it, they'll come running in if you throw wine at it. And so Natanya also said it's damage control, and she said don't give him any more attention, that he needs help, and we have to keep moving to the ones that can be saved, so to speak. So Reggie said, hey guys, I'm just tuning in. I'm getting off from work. Not trying to be funny, but give me more details to tell me where I can find this Jussie story. Reggie, it's all over the internet, bro.
Yes, I mean, just scroll your timeline. You'll see it.
I mean, literally, it is all over the internet, man. And so Sharika said, hello, Jay.
Hey.
Hey, everybody else too. No, I'm just kidding.
Not important.
And so Matt Ramos, who's a friend of mine from way back when, said greetings from Guam. So what's up, Matt? So
okay.
I would definitely say that the things that made me question the story were, like I said, the sequence of events and the timeline of events are things that I put them together in my head. You know, I analyzed them and put them together in my head, not because I didn't believe them, but when a story comes out and someone says something happened to them, and then you hear the story, you pictured it in your mind, and you put the sequence of events together in your own mind. And so some of the things that you know were his recollection, they didn't sound plausible to me. Not because they couldn't happen ever, but the sequence of events didn't sound right to me based on what he said. So, and even then, I still didn't say I don't believe the brother. I just said that this sounds a little off. Let me wait until I hear more. So, and that was just the thing. It sounded just, like I said, it was just off. You know, not untrue or not like complete fairy tale. Certain things just sounded off. You know, so
yeah, and I'm really on the kick that Natanya is on in regards to. It's not about what he represents. It's not about the incident at hand for me. It's about so much more of what it represented.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just disheartened at how we treat one another. And so that's the only thing that goes in the back of my mind, because that's not what empowerment looks like to me. That's not what love looks like to me.
Right.
And we have other things that are so severe than to fall out over something like this. And people should be able to express and voice their concerns without severing relationships.
Yeah, that's exactly what some people did.
And so it's like, because when you go so strong with stuff like this and we attack people's character, well, what happens when the person was correct?
Right. Yeah.
How do you salvage those relationships? Because I am one of those, if you say certain things to me that hurt me, and I know that I'm passionately right about it, it's hard for me to rebuild that relationship.
Yeah.
And so we just have to think like, is things really worth that much?
Yeah, and it's almost like it did that for the Black community and the gay community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just messed up that credibility on both on both ends.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have people who said certain things that they're never going to be able to walk back.
Right.
You know, and like Jay has said before, that when you put certain things out there, you're not going to be able to take them back. No matter how many times you say sorry, no matter how many times you try to overcome, you try to blanket that negativity that you put out there with positivity, it's still out there.
And they're always that's what they're going to remember.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like I told people, you have to be careful of what you say in anger because people can't unhear that.
No, never.
And you can't unhurt the pain that you put somebody
It's
through
just like
by
rape,
saying it.
you know, just like lying about rape or something like that. You know what I mean? Like a rape victim who really wasn't raped or something. So yeah, kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So we had a couple of topics. We're probably not gonna be able to touch on all of them. But
I just made it up there.
Okay. So one of the topics, I'll start at the bottom this time. You start at the top. So one of the topics, actually, this one was proposed by my uncle, and this was relationship levels in 2019. So, I mean, I know as far as myself, and I guess I want to say that I am going to assume, even though I know what assuming does, I will assume he's talking about romantic relationships. I know that from myself, I believe that, communication is first and foremost. People are either, they are together or they aren't. So I don't think there's levels to romantic relationships. I mean, if you're not together, but you're on a level where you and another person hang out, or you guys spend time together and do whatever, then that's that. When if you're together, then there has to be communication. There has to be a mutual agreement that we are exclusive, we're together.
Yeah, but what you're saying is a big deal. Communication is a big deal. That's the number one breakdown of relationships. So just for you to just say it so easily said, it's not the case. Just spit that out like we're just gonna have this conversation. But this is it's like the biggest fear of most people is to have that conversation. Yeah. So that's the main reason why we have so many misconceptions or misunderstandings or just so much breakdown on these different levels. Like that's the reason why he even probably said levels, is because of that miscommunication.
Yeah.
He actually provided clarity in the comments. He said, I'm talking about how your generation is married before they are officially married.
Yeah,
you know what? That's a good.
Old school call it shacking.
Common law.
He talking about that shacking.
Or giving wifey, doing wifey duties and wifey privileges and stuff like that before even being a wife.
Yeah, I definitely will speak to that. He said, y'all do all the things married folks do without certificates. Well, and I will speak to that, and I'll say that, while I do understand exactly what he's saying, and I will say that, first and foremost, I personally know that there's people my age or even younger that don't necessarily want to get married, but they want a companion that's going to be there with them. So I know that marriage is not for everybody. I don't believe in the term wifey. You're either, we're either in a relationship, romantic relationship together. Some people call it girlfriend.
You don't call her your wife?
I don't know. What? She's either going to be
your girl or your wife.
She's either a lady my fiance, or my wife.
Okay.
That's it. Right. I don't believe in the term wifey.
Okay.
So because I think that's a gray area where there's expectations and expectation of certain privileges or of services, not services, but you have an expectation, an expectation of certain things that are done for you, but necessarily you're not at that particular level, that tier. So that's where I view romantic relationships.
I guess I got confused because I'm married and my husband still call me wifey. But
but you're.
I was about to say you up on this side with me. I don't know why you're.
So
I just I don't know. I just jumped over there for a second. I don't even know why.
Yeah, I myself have never called my when I was younger I called a girlfriend, but I've never called a lady that I was mutually or exclusively dating or committed to. I've never called her wife.
But that's also because you came into this conversation by talking about communication and clarifying all of that from Jump Street.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of people are not doing.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, I guess that's kind of where that kind of goes hand in hand. But I like what he was saying as far as before they even have the certificate. I think it has to do with being impatient.
Possibly,
I think
yeah,
it just has
yeah.
to do with patience.
Possibly,
Because
definitely.
I feel that a lot of people rush into trying to get married or have that sense of the idea of what they think marriage is like or going to be like, because it ain't nothing like what we thought it was going to be like, right? And, you know, it's hard work, you know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of hard work. So, you know, you just kind of think about, oh, we're going to have fun all the time and it's going to just be, you know, hot dates and romance and, you know, no, it's not. It's
Go
not
ahead and
really,
say it. So what's the other one? Sex.
yeah, and sex, you know, and just a lot of, you know, a lot of the superficial stuff, but it's really not. So I feel like it has a lot to do with patience, really being
Yeah.
ready.
Well, I will say this too. I'm a traditionalist
Yes, you
when it
are.
comes to marriage. I actually believe in marriage, and I don't look at marriage as a goal. Like, ooh, this is a goal. Everybody should get married. But I do look at marriage as if that is something that you have experienced, then it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
However, I also do believe I'm the oldest end of a millennial. I do believe that it's two things. My generation before me tainted marriage. They made it seem like marriage was
That's what I was just
a
talking
death
about.
certificate, or marriage was a ball and chain, or marriage was. It's like that end thing, like, you know what, like how people talk about going to church. They be like, yeah, I'm going to settle down and get married and go to church. Okay, so death is next? Is that what we're looking at? So people treat marriage as if it's some type of disease. And that was, and I can be honest, I didn't want to get married.
Yeah.
I just happened to get married. But I can also tell you, I made in my mind like, oh no, I didn't want to get married. But when I met my wife, all that changed. But I do think that we have put too much stock into what the image of marriage is
Right, I was gonna say
versus
the idea.
what marriage actually is.
Right.
Marriage is a beautiful thing, and the things that people are doing, the things that they're investing in, technically if they invested in a marriage, 9 out of 10 you probably wouldn't have walked away from some of those relationships.
Right.
Because like what people don't realize is that it's not love that keeps you married. It's a commitment that keeps you
Right,
married.
right,
It's
right.
that choice that keeps you married.
Right.
And sometimes when you want to walk away, you have something to remind you of that commitment. You know, like you hear people say, well, what about our vows? Did they mean anything? They did mean something.
Right.
And I meant that.
Yeah.
And me going out to the courthouse trying to file for a divorce, that's time to think about what I committed to. But when you're not in a committed relationship, you can walk away.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me nothing about being married if you've never been married. You don't know the process that one goes through of becoming one.
Right.
Putting things together and all the things that you start to build. Like I wish people would think about this for a minute. If I spent 10 years with a person, we never got married, and I died, what would happen to that person that I was with? They would have to start over everything.
Yeah.
Okay? But if I was married for 10 years and I died, that person can reap my Social Security.
They can get no benefits.
Right, they get the benefits. And so in some states, you don't have a legal right
Right.
as a father if you're not married.
Right.
Yeah.
And people don't understand a lot of those things. So marriage is more than just the beautiful commitment part. It's about the stock that you put in it. And sometimes when you look back, when we talk about a spiritual rest, when you look back, it's amazing. Like me and my wife sit down and talk, and we like, wow, if we look at our childhood, our parents are both proud of us because we have 2 houses in 2 different states. We both have master's degrees. We both have built things together.
Right.
We both have children with the same last name.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Same last name.
But you said some key words, which is build, investment, and commitment and understanding. Like, you have to have a partner who can understand those things.
Yeah.
A lot of that dysfunction and the breakdown comes from two people that are not on that same thought process.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're not on that same thought process or understanding that it's an intention to build, it's an intention to have that foundation of those things that you were talking about outside of love. Like, love is not just the goal. The ultimate big picture goal is to build and to grow and to have that foundation that you were talking about.
But I will say this, and I know individuals who have done this. A lot of the individuals who have been together for a while, they actually do have it. But what happens is they give up too soon because it's nothing to stop you.
Right.
Meaning, when I say stop you, it's not, stop what you're doing. It's nothing to have you to get that moment to say, okay, do you really want to walk away?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to sever ties if we're just technically sharing a lease.
Yeah.
It's easier for me to cut ties if there is nothing connected. And so Tara asked the question about committed relationships. Committed relationships, it depends on what state you are in to determine the benefits. Like, some people, there are some states that still recognize common law, but there are several states that don't recognize common law. There are several rights that you don't have. There are several things that you don't have access to by just being in a quote unquote committed relationship. And it's so many different other things. And a lot of people only try to do it to a spiritual, quote unquote, religious side to it. But there is something about doing a contract. See, when we talk about vows, we're like, oh, these are all promises. No, vows are a contract. And you have every right to bring it up and say, no, this was a contract of the things that you said you were going to do for me.
Right.
And if I don't do those things, you have every right to call me out. When I get at my lowest moment in my marriage, my wife will tell you, I say, I don't feel like I'm fulfilling my vows. But if you are just in a committed relationship, all you got is my word. I say, I'm going to hold you down. I'm going to be here. But holding you down and being here doesn't remind you of those things. A marriage vow, it actually is a process that you go through. So you're robbing yourself of a whole process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's like, imagine having a child. You see the child being born, but you go away for 18 years and you come back and like, hey, I'm mama, I'm daddy. You've robbed yourself of that process of not just being a parent, but getting to know that person.
Right. And that's why they say that love is not really just a feeling. Like, you can't just rely on love as a feeling. Love is really those actions.
Love is a lot.
Love,
it's a parable first.
Love is a parable. It's a parable first.
Yeah, it's more than just a feeling. Definitely.
But it's more than just a feeling. It's all those actions that you were just saying. So when you remember, like you said, when you remember your vows, you remind yourself that I need to do these actions because this is love. Like, this is what I agreed to.
Right.
Yes.
And so I think that we also, those who are married, Tara is talking through it now because she's been married for 21 years.
What? Girl, you better get it.
Not 1, but 2 decades.
Congratulations to you guys.
Word.
Wow, that's beautiful.
She's been married for 21 years.
How long
and
you been married?
I've been married for 10. This will be our 11th year this year.
Okay, I've been married for 12.
Yay! But see, we have to also change the narrative. As we change the narrative of what it means to be a man, a positive man, we also have to change the narrative of what marriage is.
Right.
I'm not bogged down because I'm married. If anything, I'm more empowered because I'm married. Because, to be honest, I have children and I have a wife that some days I don't feel like I deserve. And so sometimes you're reminded of, like, regardless of how you feel, there are certain things that you deserve. Or there are certain things that are granted to you. And you don't ever want to take those things for granted. And I think that we do the same thing when it comes to life.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we don't have things to stop us. That's why things like Perfectly Flawed or Love is the Parable and Authors in Art Studio and whoever else is on here who has these things is really for people to pause.
Yeah.
And to remind them of who they are, remind you of the promises that you made to yourself, remind you of that. And so as we change the face of mental health, as we change the face of masculinity, as we change the face of marriage, we have to make sure that we rebrand it in a positive light.
Right.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We got a gang of comments
What?
before we move on to the
People
next.
be coming
It's your
on.
uncle and Tara. Nobody.
Yeah. They basically going back and forth. So I mean, we don't necessarily need to, you know what I'm saying, go over that. They just having a conversation within our conversation. Yeah, they having a conversation.
Y'all need to pay attention.
Hopefully both of y'all come to the Brother in Prime Cookout and y'all can talk some more then too.
With Tara there, she already got her ticket, so make sure you order. It's a free event, but we need to know because we are having a caterer, so we need to know how many people are coming. So make sure you're going to get your tickets. Natanya says that there's freedom in marriage.
Oh yeah.
Would you look up the comments on the topics? So we'll have that one too.
I got the topics right here.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Natanya said that there's freedom in marriage. I agree.
Okay.
And then, Tara and Mark is going back and forth. Yeah.
That's why I said yeah.
They got their own conversation
I think we
going
definitely
on.
have time for one or two more. So,
Okay.
And this one, we kind of touched on this already a little bit, but Cherie, her topic was inconsistency, men and women. And I'll definitely say that as far as inconsistency goes, I'll say that some people's whole idea or their whole tenure with dating and romantic relationships, the whole foundation is inconsistency.
Yeah.
They kind of just their attention, their affections, and their effort levels they're very fickle with it, and they just drop off whenever they feel like it.
Right.
So and that also goes to the communication. All of it is just some people, that's all they know is, okay, well, I'm talking to this person or I'm going on dates with this person, not dating, but I'm going on dates with this person, but I don't feel like talking to them anymore. So I'm going to do this.
Right, we getting so much bad advice too, because a lot of people are like, girl, you ain't got to deal with that,
Right.
Or just move on or whatever. So people aren't really putting in work to be consistent at anything either. We're talking about this whole microwave society of want things to happen quickly. So you're not really you're not. What's the word I'm looking for? Like you're not processing yourself to do any of the work that's going to help you be consistent. Yeah. And then also, just our upbringing. Yeah. Our upbringing has a lot to do with what we learned in being consistent as well. So if you saw a come and go kind of example, you're not really going to be, you're not going to really show up and being consistent as well. So you're not taking the time to really get to know yourself, and you're not getting to know who your partner is either. Because once you start to dig into their upbringing and who they really are, things will start to make sense.
Yeah. Most definitely. I
agree. And the funny thing is inconsistencies is one of the things that's like, I have trust issues. So, no, like inconsistencies is the very first thing that I pay attention to. Yeah. If you're inconsistent, I can't trust you because you're not committed to anything. Yeah. And so we have to pay attention to that. If you're not committed to yourself, meaning that you're inconsistent with your maintenance, your well-being, how are you going to partner with someone? Right. Yeah. And I think that what happens is there are a lot of attractive people. And here's the thing. You talked about communication. Let's be honest. If you want to screw, say you want to screw.
Just be honest.
Just be honest. Like, stop wasting each other's time. Like, if we talk about saying what we want, then say what you want. Like, I believe that a person already know what their intentions in. I say in the first 4 seconds. Some people refute it because I don't have no scientific method behind it. Yeah. But I will say this. Well, it is based off of marketing. From a marketing strategist standpoint, the first 4 seconds, a person decides that they're going to listen to a video. They're going to continue to listen to your speech and all of that. They're going to continue to listen on the phone. So I actually believe that translates over into other parts. Like the first 4 seconds, I done decided if I want to entertain you or not. And fortunately, for me, what proved that is when I first met my wife, September 25th, I knew she was my wife. I said, that's my wife.
Oh.
I said it under my breath. 2 days later, I was like, I love you, and I don't know why. And my wife was like, well,
You know what's gonna happen.
right. And my wife was like, well, she's talking about, I smelled you before I knew you.
Whoa.
And so I was like, wow. And so in less than 2 months, we were engaged, and in less than a year, we were married.
Wow.
Some out of a movie.
No, but I feel like what happens is a lot of us have these feelings or these unctions to go with it.
Right.
But society and social constructs are telling us, no, you have to
Have this,
court
or
for
you have
6
to do
months,
that. Yeah.
then get engaged within a year, have a year engagement, then get married in the second or third year. No. You know what you want, and you know you better than you.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of people who have robbed themselves of enriching, beautiful relationships. We're not just talking about romantic relationships. We're talking about period encounters. We have robbed ourselves of getting to know people, all because we let society dictate how we should do it.
And I think that has a lot to do with what we talked about earlier, as far as, I think you had touched on it, not a religious standpoint, but more so from a spiritual standpoint. You know, really letting your spirit kind of guide you instead of what society is saying, you know, what your friends are saying, what people are saying. You know, really, you know, being in tune with yourself will give you, like you said, you knew as soon as it happened, and that was because your spirit had led you to her.
And I tend to do that with everything. It's just like, I didn't know him. I just said, something told me to trust you.
We met and
I didn't know him.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Something told me to trust him, and
then here you are.
he been rocking with Love is a Parable since the beginning.
Okay.
And we didn't know each other. And that's the thing. The same thing with Cherie. Didn't know her.
Yeah.
Just randomly met her. And these are people on my board.
You didn't know me.
Didn't know you. Just randomly met.
Randomly met.
But the thing about it is, if something told me not to, I wouldn't.
Right.
But what we like to do is go. Here's the thing, talking about inconsistency.
Yeah.
We have deprived ourselves so much that we're used to abusing ourselves that we do it even in our encounters.
Right.
So when your body is telling you, your mind, your consciousness,
Intuition.
all of that is telling you no, you like, no, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I should go ahead and try it.
Yeah.
She a good woman, or he a good man, or they seem legit. No, something told you they wasn't legit.
Right.
And then you're sitting back like, why did this happen? You already
You
knew.
You had the signs, you had the feeling, you had the intuition that said, leave it alone.
Right in your diaphragm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this: Tara and Marcus, y'all need to go ahead and be Facebook friends after this. Don't be using our live to have your own conversation. They don't have our.
Yeah, they are going in, which is and that's
I love it though.
Yeah.
I love it. I really do love it.
Yeah, that is dope. So this will probably be our last topic, but so Natanya, she had two topics, but this is the one that I think is really, really dope. She said the topic of that can help a lot of brothers not feel overwhelmed by the responsibility, especially if they are the single breadwinner.
Say it one more time though.
Well, she said, or she said that topic, but she said the topic that can help a lot of brothers not feel overwhelmed by the responsibility of being the single breadwinner.
Okay, I get what she's saying.
Help me. He read it again.
She's saying to help the brothers to feel that they won't be overwhelmed by being the single breadwinner, that all that pressure has to be on them to be the provider and the protector and all that. Because we do speak a lot about what the male's role is. And I actually talk a lot about this because right now economically things have changed. You know, just things have changed. There's an unbalance with our economic structure right now with, black women versus black men and just, women and men in our society today anyway. So we really need to be understanding about that. It doesn't mean don't hold up your part, you know what I mean? And don't contribute. But we need to be understanding as women to, be open-minded and not have this whole pressure on men to, and I'm gonna tell you this also, because for me personally, I've even had situations in my household where, I've been unemployed, my husband has been unemployed, you know what I mean? And our economic structures have shifted. I mean, just recently, I lost my whole job, you know what I mean? My whole job, and was, very financially secure and very financially stable. But at this time, if I had been, just completely, ungrateful, that would be a terrible situation to have in my household, where now my husband is the financial provider, and then yet I was, making him feel some type of way or something like that based off of that economic structure, because it has changed so much. At the end of the day, can we pay these bills?
Yeah,
who gonna pay the bills?
Yeah,
and let's just get the bills paid.
Yeah,
that sounds good. I'm not gonna lie, but being a married man, even when you feel like it's not even about making more money, it's about if something was to happen, because you actually go into protect mode, meaning you lost your whole job. It's not about who's making more, but if you lost your whole job, will I still be able to provide for the whole family?
Yeah.
Meaning, yes, you're going to feel bad about losing a job because you've been contributing to that house, but the last thing you need to stress out about is, will we have a place to stay?
Right.
And I will say, me and my wife talk about this all the time, I can't explain this societal pressure, but when you're not performing to a certain status quo, it's like this weird, non-existent force that is telling you need to do more and you're less than.
Yeah.
So you feel this weight even when nobody is saying it.
Yeah.
You feel this weird weight that it's just, you can't explain it. And so, yeah, it sounds good. Like, people can encourage you all day long. Your spouse can encourage you all day long. But I can say, as a man, it still does eat at you.
Yeah, no, definitely. In our society, especially here in the U.S., I mean, it's I don't say a tradition, and people can have their own opinion whether it's a bad or a good one, or positive or negative one. But it's a sort of tradition that a man is supposed to make enough money if he needs to take care of his entire household.
Yeah.
And that's that really affected me as a young man, because I didn't want to get married up until I was probably my late 20s, because I didn't feel I'd make enough money to take care of a whole entire family. I mean, and Tara actually said that your household finances are your business, and that's true. I mean, and as Dionne said, if the bills get paid and the family's fed and all that stuff, then that should be first and foremost. But I also understand what you're saying. As a man, that's followed me, and even as a teenager, that's followed me throughout my whole life.
Right.
As far as, you need to have enough money to take care of your family. If your wife don't want to work, you got kids, you got to have money. If you got to give your wife nice things, especially because, she's going to be committed to you. So all that there's a lot of pressure. And I think that to relieve that pressure, of course, communication is key, but also, like Dionne said, understanding that in this current society, feeding a whole family on one income is extremely hard. We're not in our grandparents' generation anymore, where somebody's working and they're making enough money to feed the whole family, and the wife can stay at home and take care of the kids, or even vice, or anything like that. We're not in that climate or that environment anymore. Times have definitely changed.
Right. Alicia.
Hey, Alicia.
Yeah, Alicia said some men have too much pride to accept or ask for help. Miss Joey said, contribute what you can. Sometimes this is not financial. Sometimes that means helping in the household. I will say this, though. These are the things that I will say. It sounds logical, but it still doesn't take away what the pressure that a man feels like. Yeah, he can contribute in the house. Like, I can do my kids' hair, I can cook, I can clean, I can do all of that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me feel like a man.
No.
Yeah, and I think
it's nobody coming at me saying, "Oh, you need to do this." My wife never said you're less than a man and you're none of that. But that's something that is telling me you need to do more.
Yeah.
And if I don't have my family secured, I'm not going to feel okay, even if I'm helping out in those other things. And I think some people don't understand that.
Yeah, realistically, like you said, like you're going to feel that. But I think to her point, she was basically saying women shouldn't intentionally put that pressure on men.
Oh no, I definitely get it, but I think that men are overwhelmed
anyway.
Anyway, I don't even know how to fix it because I feel the pressure.
That's pressure is from, I mean, you have, little boys who are told when they get older, you have to take care of your family, so you need to grow up and get a good job, make a lot of money. I mean, when you're hearing that from the time that you were, from the time that you can understand it, you could be 6, 7 years old. That is constantly being told to you. You have to go out and make money. You have to be the breadwinner. You have to bring home the bacon.
Right.
That is
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, when that's ingrained in your head, it creates a cycle of, and that perpetuates a cycle of men just wanting to always acquire more.
Yeah.
I gotta have more money. I gotta get more resources because if I have a wife and she wants to go on vacation, I gotta pay for it. If we want nice cars, my kids got they need braces, I gotta pay for it. I gotta pay for it. That is just a recurring theme in our brains.
Right.
Right, and I do think that we're gonna have to come up with a way to fix it. Tara said, "Empowerment shall fix it." Because I do feel like as a man, even when you think about it, even in our community, we joke about it. Like if I'm out somewhere and danger happens, I'm naturally going to look out for Cordell because why? He's the younger brother, and it's something ingrained in you. Say, look out for those who are younger than you, and it doesn't matter if he's in his 30s. He's still younger. So you do that, and I can't even explain where those instincts come from.
Yeah.
But they're there, and I don't even know if that is a hypermasculine issue or it's a survival issue. I don't know what that is, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing to look out for those who not necessarily can't fend for themselves. But if you have more experience, naturally, you will be the one that comes to the forefront.
Well, I don't know because so now it got me thinking: is it instinctively that you're like that, or is that a learned behavior kind of thing?
I don't know. I can't even tell you.
The only reason why it makes me think that is because you know how you see those memes sometimes where the guy and the girl is walking across the street, and the meme is like,
she's on the wrong side.
She's on the wrong side, and if the guy isn't, on the protecting side of the street, on the street side, a lot of guys don't think like that. There are a lot. That's the reason for that meme is like to try to retrain the whole, thought process because there are a lot of men that aren't in that protective kind of position and that aren't protecting. So that leads me to think: is that a learned behavior or is that an instinctively thing? And
I don't even know. I don't know because now you do it so much. It's just like I'm one of those people. If I see a child falling, I'm usually going to reach out and grab the child. Right. And I don't even think about, it's not even, I'm a man, I'm supposed to do. I don't know what's going through there. Yeah. But something tells you like to look out for those who are younger than you, to protect those that you can, and also seek wisdom. It's just like instinctively. Like Tara is older than me. Yeah, and then I'm country and got these big old lips. Like Tara is older than me, so when I come to her, I'm already coming to her in the mindset of you're the big sister. You're supposed to tell me. I'm not supposed to tell you.
Right.
And so it's so weird
that you just kind of vibe.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that sometimes we gotta encourage some of those things, but also recognize certain things are just there. Like I think it's wrong to say all women are maternal, right? Because all women are not. So that's but accept them for who they organically are.
I was actually going to follow up with that because because I know I struggle sometimes because my husband is very protective. He's prior military. He's got that that initial like reaction to anything, something going down, he's on point. But I was like built to be independent and strong. So sometimes, I have that clash where, I'm not submissive to that protection. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like you were saying with all mothers being nurturers, you know what I mean? It's not really always the case. You can't just, expect that because based off of your upbringing and those kind of things may not be that you would instinctively be a protector.
Well, I can tell you now, we have met our hour. I told you it goes by when you're having fun. But I want to do something different, and I want to add it to it. I want to do positive brother shout-outs. Any positive brothers that you know that you just want to give a shout-out. It's like a billion that just ran through my head.
Yeah, man. I mean...
No, just give it to him. Let's go. Go with 10 you can name off real quick.
10, go. I'm not going to be able to count, but of course, my Uncle Marcus, who's here, his argumentative self. But my Uncle Marcus, my Uncle Antoine, my homie Keon, a.k.a. Devontae Ragland, his dad, Derry Ragland, whose birthday is today actually. So
happy birthday.
He's not watching, but happy birthday. My dad, Jay, of course you, brother. Of course you.
Okay.
That's 6, I think, or 7. Tori Newton.
Tori Newton.
Yeah, that's a very solid brother right there. My name Jack. Jack has 2 daughters, a very upstanding brother, doing a lot of things out there. Other than that, I don't have any.
Tara said this might be her idea, and it may be because we talk so much. This might be your idea, so I'm not going to even knock it. I give credit where credit is due. Your turn, Dionne.
He done stole your idea.
I done stole it.
Hey, at least he gave you credit.
No, she said
to pop it off like, I'm going to do this and I'm positive brothers.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I stole it from you. We talk so much, you don't know who ideas is what. My bad. Your turn, go.
Okay, so I will first say, my husband Lamont, you are very positive. I appreciate everything that you do for the family and also for the community. My brother, my father,
say their names. Brian Wilson.
Brian,
he'll argue with you in a minute.
Look, Dad. Look, Dad. You're making it out here. You're making the scene out here. And my brother's name is actually Brian Wilson as well. Definitely my uncle Gregory. The brothers at the barbershops. I see y'all grinding and being positive in the communities as well. Like I said before, the brothers with the bike clubs. I see y'all out there hustling and grinding in the community and doing positive things as well. And you know, I there's so many brothers that I have on my timeline that I do want to shout out, but I really can't remember all their names.
Montez Bishop.
Yes, Montez. I can't remember like all the, they're not coming to me, but I do see y'all every day. I see y'all every day. I see y'all grinding. I appreciate everybody's support as far as like commenting and supporting what I'm doing with my mission. So that's positive just in supporting me.
Yep.
So,
well, I'm ready.
Yeah, I know you are.
Robert Walker, Corey. What's Corey's last name? Blackwell?
Maxwell.
Corey Maxwell. Let's do Dionne Henry. We can also do all of my brothers: Rodney White, Darryl White, Vincent White, Michael Brown, Tremel Brown, Andre Parker, Alex. We can keep on going. Franklin Pollard, J.C. Moore.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You already said Tori Newton. I said Robert Walker with his business. Yeah. My dad, Antonio Brown.
Ian.
Right, Ian Parks. As soon as he get on Facebook. Ian Parks. Let me think. We already said Montez Bishop. Al Howard. Yeah. Al Howard, Kendrick Mays, the unofficial mayor of everything that's North Carolina. It's so many different brothers that are on here that we thank you. We thank you for what you're doing, and you're necessary.
Yes, definitely.
You're so necessary. Anthony Vickers, Dylon, Benjamin Zinnerman, Isaiah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can keep on going.
Okay.
Corey.
Yeah.
We can keep on going. It's a lot of them. Corey Bailey.
Yep. AKA Noe.
AKA Noe. Yep. It's a lot of you brothers that are necessary, that are needed, and we thank you. Why Joey talking about are any of these brothers single? First of all, no. Listen, let me tell you this. Tara and Marcus, y'all will not be using this for a debate. And Joy, you will not be using this for matchmaker. No, we're not doing that.
Well,
Joy, to answer your question, some of those brothers are single. Yes, they are.
Facebook.
You are no help.
Facebook. Friend them.
Okay, any positive thoughts?
Positive thoughts to end this off. Actually, no. Dionne, ladies first. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Ladies first.
You're so sexist.
Positive thoughts. We're working hard with Perfectly Flawed and what we're doing in the community. Definitely come out on Saturday if you can to the Perfectly Flawed conversation here at the center. We're definitely going to be having some positive conversations about the things that we brush under the rug in the Black community. But I'm just excited about the work that we're doing, and that's positive.
Yeah, most definitely.
And she just started this community center. So if you have connections to certain suppliers, reach out to her. chairs,
Things
boards,
for the after-school program.
things for the after-school program. So if you have access to food and clothes and anything, because there's so many different people that come in this area, reach out to her and help, because that's what community centers are for.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what community is for.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
You know, yeah. Jay, no, Jay, you go first. I'm going last this time. You go first. You go.
Oh, he's demanding today. I definitely want to just let you know that you guys are necessary in everything that you're doing, even the things behind the scene that you think are not important. They are important because you're contributing. But also be comfortable in your voice. Be comfortable with you and appreciate you. If you don't appreciate you now, you won't appreciate who you're becoming, and you won't appreciate the future you. Appreciate you now and love on you now, and take those minutes to pause, those moments to pause, to think, to reflect, and just realize how brilliant you are.
Right.
And shine bright.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I'm done.
I felt that.
I'm done.
So, last but not least, as I always say at the end of Brother Empowerment, brothers, be open. Be open to having conversations. Be open to being accountable. Be open to just being a better you. Being open is the best thing that you can be, because when you're open, you're receptive to pretty much, I won't say anything, but you're receptive to a lot.
Right.
You know, so I'll definitely say that being open is definitely the best thing you can be. You know, as always, love is a parable. You know, we must never forget that. And I will say that, brothers, you know, I love y'all. I love all of y'all. We may have different views. We may not see each other that much. We may not know each other, but I love y'all. You know, and I want all of us to become better. So to be better for each other, be better people. Because if you're a better you, you can take care of or be better for other people. So I love y'all.
Yep, we love you, and we definitely appreciate you. Also, brothers and sisters, we need resources to positively impact the community. And at this point, we actually do need financial resources. I usually don't ask for that, but because of where we're going and what we need to do, I encourage anyone, I don't care what it is, if it's $5, $1, 50 cents, I don't care what it is, go to loveisapparable.com and donate. We are a 501c3 organization, so 100% of your contribution is tax deductible. So I definitely want you to just help us to impact more, because it does eat at us that we can't do as much as we want to do.
Yeah.
And we're ready to do more, and we can't do it without you guys.
Right.
Yep.
But we love y'all, and
Love y'all.
good
y'all.
night.
Bye.
Good night.